Hey guys, Infidel 1258 here. Today we are going to get into one of my rapid fire series. That means I'm going to go through several questions that I've already found in my comment section. Guys, thank you for blowing up the comment section. As always, I try my best to get in there and support you guys by providing answers to the questions that you leave for me, because I want to design content that you're going to directly benefit from. But also, I know you're not the only one wondering these questions. And so I do these videos because it's going to have a broader reach than just responding to your comment. I can't get everybody's, but if you leave the word question or if you say your IGN, then those are keywords I can search, which will give me opportunities to find you, answer you, and reward you in certain situations. If you drop your IGN whenever you do a question, I can send out some rewards when the time comes, okay? And I am happy to do that. Before I go any further, my name is Dwayne, and I go by 1258. You can just call me 12. And on the channel, we cover Splinterlands all day, every day, because it's changed my life, and I think it can change yours. That's not an overnight process. That's years in the making. But every single day, spending your time and attention within this blockchain-based video game will give you rewards for that time. And those rewards might seem trivial at first, but these things snowball and it gets bigger and bigger until months or years down the road, when you've just been having fun with something here, it ends up, you look back and you think, wow, how did that get so large? And tonight we're going to talk about value. Tonight we're going to talk about the value of my Chaos Legion deck, whether purchasing Chaos cards made sense in the pre-sale. We're going to talk about legendary Chaos cards and whether the market price is right to buy or if there's more dips coming. We're going to talk about a few other little topics here. I'll get into it one at a time, and I will do timestamps at the bottom. And guys, thanks for hanging out. If you're new to the channel, maybe consider liking and subscribing. Okay, the first question is from a viewer named Yoni Callan. Hey Yoni, how you doing, buddy? He said, was the pre-sale worth it as of January 2022? So like now, after looking back on the pre-sale for Chaos Legion, was it worth it in hindsight? The price of Dr. Blight has fallen. The price of vouchers has fallen dramatically. You know, there was a opportunity cost associated with buying or using the vouchers that I had accumulated or that I reached out on the market and bought. All of that was, you know, several thousands of dollars. It was. I'll tell you how much those packs cost me. I did crunch the numbers, but before I do that, I want to just set the stage. There certainly was a significant cost of buying pre-sale packs that is much higher than now buying packs in the bulk phase or the second phase or even the third phase. And the argument was always, I was being foolish. Don't buy in the first phase because you can just go and buy them in the general when the general sale happens. The first thing is, I continue to stand by my initial point, which is the assumption. I refuse to assume that there will be Chaos Legion packs widely available on the general sale date. I do believe that there is still 12 million packs that are unsold, or there will be 12 million packs that are unsold by the time the general sale begins. I have some degree of skepticism that they will last. I have some percentage in my mind that those packs will sell out on day one. That's not my prediction. That's my, you know, I'm saying I give it like at least a 1% possibility of happening, which is not insignificant in my mind. And so from one perspective, I need to first say I bought these pre-sale packs because I needed them. I didn't want to assume I would get them later. I also needed the airdrops. I didn't want to assume I would get them later. I didn't fully know what the price of Dr. Blight would be. I knew that all Dr. Blights that were ever going to be released would be released, and I knew that I needed them. So I made choices at a time when not all the information known today was available. And so yeah, hindsight can be 20/20, but let's talk about the numbers and let's see how that trade worked out for me. So the first thing that I should explain is how much did I spend on that. I bought 1,000, I think it was 1,050 packs, but for easy math, I'm going to call it 1,000 packs because I don't exactly remember. It was 1,050, was it 1,040? I can't remember exactly, but let's say it was 1,000. I earned roughly 300 vouchers simply by virtue of owning the assets that I hold in this game. And so I only had to buy 700 vouchers. And then it's important to also know the 300 vouchers I got from earning, just from holding my assets, I sold them around $20 to $25. I've sold about 200 or 300, 200 or more at around 25 bucks when the prices were up. And then I bought them back around 15. I have done nothing here to calculate what that would mean for me, but you know, that's a good swing. Like that paid for, that little trade paid for a good number of my vouchers, and it would push this trade in my favor. But if you just look at it like this, I earned 300 vouchers from holding assets in the game, and then I bought, and I needed 1,000, so that means I bought 700, and I bought those 700 around $15 per. That's when the market was low. I bought them about $15 per. So I had my 1,000 vouchers, and the 1,000 vouchers that I had cost me an out of pocket $10,500 because I only had to buy 700 of them. In fact, it's lower because, like I just explained, I sold my initial freebies for 25 bucks and I reinvested at a lower price, which stretched my dollar, making this price point lower. Either way, I'm going to call it $10,500 for the vouchers I required. And then I had to tack on that $4,000 for the cost of the packs themselves. So we're up, no, that's not right. That was $400. We're up to $14,500. This is my cost, roughly speaking, for the Chaos Legion packs that I acquired. And there are some nuances to this number, but I don't want to spend 20 minutes explaining, you know, all the variables. You know, you could make an argument it's slightly more because of the lost opportunity cost of the 300 the vouchers that I earned and didn't, yes, I sold them and I flipped them and I bought them back lower, but still there's a lost opportunity cost that I'm not accounting for here. I don't want to go down that road. It's just those vouchers were given to me. I didn't pay for them, and then I made money on them. So, you know, I feel this is a fair number. 14.5 is what I paid, roughly speaking. And of this, the 4,000 I paid also came from SPS, and that SPS was given to me by Splinterlands. And I bought SPS at Splinterlands when the first dip came. It was like 20 cents or something. And I sold SPS around close to $1. So SPS launched, I sold some around $1. SPS fell, I bought some around 20 cents. All of these trades go toward cutting away at the bottom line of what this number is. Nevertheless, call it 14.5 for my packs. So was it worth it? What I had to do to figure that out is I went over to Peak Monsters and I looked at each of my accounts, because at this point I've separated some of my cards. I've sent some over to my It Is Finished. I've sent some to D Cunningham. I've left a lot with Infidel 1258. Those are my 3 accounts. And so I had to go through each of them at Peak Monsters, and you come over to my cards and you can look at the amount of value you hold there, and you can specify using the filters that you want to look at just Chaos Legion. Using this sort of search parameter, I was able to determine that I held $4,300 worth of Chaos Legion cards as of today, January 4th, 2022. $4,300 for Infidel, $1,440 for D Cunningham, $960 with It Is Finished, and then I sold $3,000 worth of cards, which was Dr. Blight. Sold a gold foil Dr. Blight for $2,100. I sold 6 regular foils for around $150 each. I think it was actually $180 each, but I'm calling it $150. So every bit of this math, I feel I'm really erring on the side of conservatism. I don't believe I'm inflating any of these numbers. And if you did the math there, you would find, well, that's not all of it, sorry. In addition to that, you have to know that I'm going to be getting 4 copies of Bakjira for sure, 4 copies of Uriel for sure, because I bought 1,000 packs and I got 20% bonus, which is 1,200 packs. And that is going to give me 4 guaranteed copies of each of the airdrops that are available coming out in like number 2 and number 3, Bakjira and Uriel. I'm going to get 4 copies of each of them. I'm also going to get at least 4 copies of every single other airdrop. I don't know what those are going to be worth, but conservatively, 50 bucks a pop times 4, that's $200 per airdrop. And I think times 13 is $2,600. Got to add that in. And I think that's super conservative. 6 of these are going to be legendary summoners. There's no way legendary summoner stays at 50 bucks. No way. they are going to be for sure way more than that. And if you want to have a sense of what those values could be, you come over to Legendary and you go to Summoners. And you just look at any of them. $91. This one's 28 bucks, but that's only because it's not one of the big boys. This is level 4, and I don't think it's very strong either. But even this would be really significant, but it's not going to be that low. And this is while it's currently being released. We'll talk more about the price of Chaos Legion cards right now. At this date later in the video, because one of the questions was around Chaos Legion cards and Legendary cards continuing to drop. I want to say more about that, but we'll talk later about that. But just look, $90, $150, $200, $500, there's no way those legendaries summoners that I'm going to have copies of, because I bought those pre-sales, are going to be less than, say, 50 bucks. So these numbers are very, very low. And also, there are going to be some epics from the Legendary that I'm going to get multiple copies of, not just 4. And so I think this is very conservative. And lastly, there was some CAD tokens, C-A-A-D, that's card auctions tokens that they handed out, 1 per pack, that I received as a product of participating with cardauctions.com through their general sale, their pre-sale purchase. And that equated to, I've sold 900 of those for $2,100 US, 2160 actually. And if I added all of this up, you find that it's actually $1,446, $14,460. It's actually literally $40 cheaper, or less money than the cost of the packs themselves. And then I didn't calculate in here SPS associated with the airdrops from the card value that I have. So there's at least, I think I calculated roughly 300,000 airdrop points that I'm getting from all my Chaos Legion cards, and that's going to be some amount of SPS that I've earned between the pre-sale and now, and will continue to earn ever more. So there you go, or at least until SPS airdrop stops. And then lastly, and this is the biggest point, and then I'll move on to the next topic. They were pretty much the same. The packs cost pretty much what I've received thus far, but I don't believe thus far is a fair analysis, because you're asking the question on January 4th, 2022, at a time when the market is down significantly. Like 2-3 weeks ago, the market was up probably 50 to 60% higher than where it is now. And so I know it might feel like it wasn't the best choice, or it might feel like, and I think I showed you that the numbers are even, but in the future the numbers are going to be even more favorable on my behalf. So the value of the packs seems to be the value of what I've received thus far, but I really strongly believe that the analysis of value on or price based on today's market is not a fair assessment. When Chaos Legion packs sell out, which I think it will be in 2 to 3 months, that's when we'll start to see the prices increase on the cards, but we'll also see the prices increase on the packs themselves. And so, you might kind of have a slight point that this wasn't an amazing home run right now, but I never said it would be. My whole perspective around Chaos Legion packs and why I want to acquire more and more and more is because I know there's big airdrops coming. I know that SPS airdrops are meaningful. I expect SPS price to rise. I expect the card prices to rise. I expect the Chaos packs to rise. And if you start to factor in all of that future price appreciation, that's where the home run is observed. And I think, we can look at it again in 6 months and see where it's at. But as far as I'm concerned, this was a decision that I made based on the best information I had, and it's working out exactly as I would have expected. Okay, so that's question number 1. The other questions are a bit quicker, a bit easier. The next one was from Yuki. Thanks for leaving a comment, bud. And Yuki said, "Can you share the notes from the build a silver level 3 deck?" This is from he's asking about the video that I made just recently, Silver 3 versus Bot Army. And it was a 30-minute video. I posted it live this morning. And I said in there, look, you know, you need to, if you want to determine if it makes more sense to own multiple accounts or to own one account with a bunch of value in it, you need to understand what sort of value would you have to have in the one account to make it, you know, meaningful. And I think Silver 3 is the target you need to aim at. And so what does the Silver 3 deck cost? Roughly 650 to 850 US dollars, depending on the monsters you choose and the splinters you choose. The ones I chose were from the blue splinter, black splinter, white splinter, and dragon. That was going to build me about 15 to 17,000 collection power, and it was going to cost, like I said, around 650 to 850. And it was going to be, I think, quite versatile. It was going to give me two summoners that were not maximal level for the silver level, and then 2 summoners that were maximized for that level, at level 4 rare. I think it was going to kick some butt at that level, and I think I picked a good amount of cards, a good deck, and I had detailed notes on that, and he wanted to see them, so I just wanted to share with you guys now that I posted in the public auditorium of the TNA Splinterlands Discord. That's my Discord. I went ahead and I posted, hey everybody, I recently built a silver 3 deck video, and it was requested that I share the Word doc. Here it is. It just shows you all my suggestions, their prices, and even the proposed calculations around potential earnings. And you can see it there, the summoners, the cost, the collection power, death, life, dragon, neutral, and even just notes and thoughts I had around what the potential earning would be from that silver deck versus what it would cost. I even left in the bot army calculations for your consideration. So if that's interesting to you, you pop over to the Discord. Join the Discord if you haven't already. The link's always in the description. We've got a great community of people that are always talking to one another and sharing, you know, feedback on whatever they're dealing with in the game or otherwise. And this is one of the ways that we get to know our community. And then we add interns also. So come be a part of the Discord, become an intern through one of several ways. And then ultimately, hopefully, maybe one day become part of the TNA guild. Okay, so thanks, Yuki, for the comment. That's your answer, buddy. Crypto Junkie left a question saying he has a legendary totem that he's acquired. So he saw my land video. In the land video, we talked about right there, sell my land, buy chaos packs. I have 100 plus land. I want to sell it. I think I can sell it for roughly 60 grand. And if I sell it, I could put that money towards 1, taxes, because you got to pay taxes on these things. 2, Chaos Legion packs. And those Chaos Legion packs, I believe, would garner a maximized amount of airdrop points from this SPS airdrop, which is important to me. I think SPS is going to be the future of the game, from the rank battle rewards perspective, but also from a price appreciation. You know, it's very low as far as I'm concerned. And so I really think you need more of it. I think it's foolish not to have a big bag of SPS, and I love this game and I like where it's going, so I want a big bag. So this trade is in part because I would love to have more SPS, and I would love to have more SPS airdrop points, but also because I want more chaos packs, chaos airdrop cards, and I want to be able to build more and more decks that I could hand out to people to revenue share on those accounts. So there's a lot of calculations there, and on the video he left a comment saying he understands where I'm coming from, and he's thinking about this sort of thing also, and he has a legendary totem. If you don't know what totems are, maybe I should pop over there. Easiest way would be Google Splinterlands totem. Better do, there we go, lands. So when the land launched, there was an explanation of what it would do and the creation, how it would generate resources that only would ever be produced by the owners of land. There will be no items and spells that are created by Splinterlands. They will solely be the product of people who own land. This is super important, guys. That's why I love land. That's in part why land is so expensive, because of the expectation around that. But one of the components to land was that there was going to be totems. Magical items known as totems have been discovered scattered across the lands of Praetoria, and these ancient artifacts from civilizations long forgotten have been imbued with magical energy that can provide significant benefits to players that can harness them. Each totem will be tradable and it'll be an item, an NFT item, just like the existing monster and summoner cards and the upcoming land plot cards. And they can be placed in buildings to provide specific benefits. Each totem will provide one very specific benefit for every. For example, it may speed up Death Splinter item card minting, or increase the rate of Sparkstone harvesting, or reduce the maintenance cost of a farm building. Totems will have common, rare, epic, and legendary rarities, and he has a legendary one, with the more rare versions giving larger benefits than more common ones. And initially, totems will only be available as prizes in Splinterlands Land Raffle, and I guess he won one, which you can read more about here. And however, once land expansion is live, there will be additional ways that players can come across these rare, valuable items. I think when you open your plots, you might find you have a totem, I think is how that works, but I'm not 100% sure. Either way, these are clearly buffs that you can utilize with your land in order to maximize the production of resources. So they're clearly going to be valuable because, from my perspective, land is intentionally, or is really smartly designed to create unique value. These items and spells that only will come from the farming of those lands are going to be desirable for players, and therefore the resources, the land plots themselves will be desirable to players for the creation of those resources. And then tack on, here's an opportunity to increase the revenue out of your asset in the form of a totem. Of course that's going to have value. It's all connected, and you have to believe in land to believe in totems, but I personally do. So his question was, look, I get it. My totem is super expensive, and I'm thinking, maybe I sell it, and then I reinvest that to try and, execute more or drop points or to get some more Chaos Legion or whatever the case may be. And I said to him, and I'll say to you guys, that's an interesting thing. And, the way I look at it is, you absolutely at times should sell things that are high, looking to reinvest that in other ways where you also believe, in other areas where you believe strongly that success will come, but that it yet hasn't come. And so for me, selling land and moving into Chaos Legion packs is me saying, I believe in land, I think it's great, but for the value of that I've received over there, I'd love to take that out and put it over here where I haven't seen any price appreciation. To the point earlier from the first question, Chaos Legion packs are still $4. Like, they haven't gone up because they haven't sold out. Chaos cards are really low. They haven't gone up because they haven't sold out, but they will. And so I want to fill my bag with assets that haven't sold out, that haven't gone up. And I want to empty a bag that has gone up. At least that's my view on it. And now I could make strong arguments for keeping land. Don't get me wrong. Land is amazing. I'm excited about it. This totem sounds amazing. And he said there's only 220 of them, which is exceedingly rare, which to me might make an exception, because I'll tell you, but before I go there, I said to him, and then this is one thing I want you guys to hear. The way I look at it is, if you have an asset that's gone up 10x and another asset that you strongly believe in will go 10x, then why not take a little profit off of the one and put it into the next 10x so you can 10x your 10x. That's what I said to him, and that's what I think about it when I'm reinvesting or when I'm investing in the first place. But huge caveat right now, which is this: when an asset is so rare that you're literally, there's 200 of them in the entire game, 220 he said, that probably changes the picture for me. Because yes, there's 150,000 plots of land. That's the first thing. Second thing is, I don't know if any of mine are going to be legendary. They're unopened. They could be all common. They his is legendary. He knows that. That's a big thing. And I finished my comment to him with something I want you guys to hear. While I'll say to you, on the one hand, I absolutely like looking for opportunities to sell high and buy low, and that's what I see my land sale as. In his case, I need to compare it more to, would I ever dream of selling my Byzantine kitty? You guys might know. If you're not new to the channel, you definitely know. My favorite summoner in the game is the Byzantine kitty, and I have one, max level copy, and I use it all the time. And there's no way I'd sell this thing. Look at this thing. It's selling. I could list it for $5,500 US. I will not. I don't care if this was $10,000 or $50,000. I wouldn't. And just a little whisper in my back of my mind said, But if the right price came where other assets hadn't yet moved, maybe I would. So everything's negotiable. Like some, you've heard business people say, everything's negotiable. It's just some things are very, very, like I hold them very dear. And Byzantine Kitty to me, even though it's extremely expensive, would be one of those examples where I would be loath to let this go. I just can't imagine. It would probably need to be $50,000 at a time when other summoners were closer to 5,000. Like if I could sell this for 50 grand and come in and buy, a pretty decent dragon summoner for 10,000, I'd strongly consider it, because you see what I'm saying. Like when the proportion is there, when the margin is there, where it's like, I love this thing, but the value has reached such a level that I would be satisfied by taking the profit and putting it into things that I may not like as much, but I like a lot, and where I can see multiple revenue streams or multiple opportunities out of. That's the complicated nature that is hard to fully explain to you guys, and you would need to kind of think through on your own for your own situation. And for him with his totem, but that's my general thinking, and hopefully that analysis and that detailed explanation helps you think it through too, so you can make your best decision with regard to that totem. Okay, I think it's two more quick ones, or maybe just one. No, last question. Hijazi Zolkifli left a comment asking about Chaos Legion cards and whether or not, it made sense to start buying them now. And he was saying specifically, the prices keep falling. I keep buying them. Should I keep buying them? Should I wait until after the general sale? And it's an interesting question with a hard answer to give, but I'm going to do my best. Specifically, he was talking about legendary monsters, so we'll focus on legendary and Chaos Legion. And then, yeah, these prices are really, really coming down into a place where I would argue they're very, very reasonably priced. Now, they might continue to fall, but if you know me, then I don't really care if they keep falling, because I wouldn't say to you, come in here and buy 100 copies of Ifrit Rising. I would say to you, if you think Ifrit Rising is a good card, or Zyvax is a good card, or Jin, or whatever, come in and buy one today at these prices, or two. Depends on your budget, right? For me, this is not my main account, first of all. I'm not going to leave it because I'll have to refilter it all. But I would, I would be pretty serious about buying some of these Jin Murats for that price, because I think this card is amazing. Desert Dragon I like less, but maybe for bronze it might be pretty interesting with the 4 melee out the gate, and for silver with the 5 and the piercing. I think it's excellent at the highest levels too, with the Retaliate and the Giant Killer, but just it does have a few too. It is a little bit light on the hit points for my liking. So in terms of these, let's focus on the bottom 8. In terms of the cheapest legendaries in the game right now, Jin Murat to me is an amazing monster that it's a joke that's this cheap. I really think it's worth $20, and that's now. Forget about in 2 years when it's sold out. Like Void Armor Knockout, so it's got a huge amount of hit points because it's got the Void Armor. So whether it's magic or whether it's melee or whatever, it's going to have 11 hit points. Second of all, it's got Knockout, which is going to do the double damage when you stun. And I love using stun, so it's very common for me, especially with my Death Splinter, to put forward like a stunners. Like I've got at least 2 that I can think of. I've got the Lord of Darkness in the first position, and then there's a magic monster, Enchantress, who has stun, and then there's Cyclops, which is the third one, which is a neutral archery. So I got tons of stun, and that'll go really well with a knockout. And then Giant Killer, which is increasingly important because we keep one of the examples of power creep in this game is that there are increasingly higher and higher mana monsters, and now more than ever there are lots of monsters that are 10 or higher that will qualify for Giant Killer mode. Now, Giant Killer mode, where this ability is hard to utilize in a logical manner. Like you're just gonna get lucky. Sometimes you're gonna put it in and it's gonna end up punching against a 10 mana monster. You won't know that in advance usually, but the thing about this ability is that you can almost predict that the game is going to create more and more and more 10 mana monsters, right? Because they're just going to keep creating new monsters, and some of them will be 10 mana monsters. And to me, that makes this an increasingly, like, this ability will grow and grow in terms of utility as far as I'm concerned. And then Magic Reflect is nice, and Force Field is amazing. So at the highest levels, I find this card absolutely must have, and even at the lowest levels, I find it very powerful, especially in conjunction with like a Delwyn Dragon Scale in the wild format using the +1 magic. But then remember, we're going to get new summoners legendary level for the Death Splinter. Wouldn't it be amazing if there was a magic +1 magic on the Death Splinter? We'll see. But to me, this is the must-have card. I think Ifrit Rising is a fine card. I don't really love Recharge, but you know, I have to say that's going to hit like a truck at silver and above. You know, you put this thing in the back line in silver and it's going to hit for 9. That thing's going to delete whatever it touches. So, you know, and then if you happen to have Yoden, watch out. So to me, those two are amazing. And Zyvax I also like. This is one where I feel strongly because of the Recharge is one of those abilities that's going to get through the big meat shields, such as Gelatinous Cube, such as Almo Cambio, such as Friendly Giant, I think he's called, and Bakjira, that's a new water legendary with 1,000,000 hit points. And so you're going to need to hit those things hard. And Recharge is one ability that will utilize that. You can use Affliction, you can use Oppress on these monsters, but one ability that will also satisfy the need is Recharge. It's going to hit like a truck and it's going to just nuke them. And so, you know, on the one hand, I'm telling you, these monsters have great utility, are extremely valuable, can really kick some butt, have a ton of utility, and will grow in value, in my opinion, for sure, over a long enough time horizon. But that's only the first part of the conversation. Because you want to first understand, are they worth anything? Like, do they have a high value? And the answer is yes. And then you want to understand, is the price right? And for that question, it's a separate conversation, because you need to work in, will the price decline over the next 2 weeks or 2 months as Chaos Legion is continuing to be opened? We're going to get, I expect, 12 million, all of the packs sold within the next 2 to 3 months. What's that going to mean for card liquidity? It's going to mean a huge influx of cards on the marketplace. So you can imagine what that would do to card prices. Extra supply with perhaps stable demand, or perhaps increasing demand, but not increasing demand to keep up with the increased supply. That's my contention. There will be a spike in supply that is unique, and there will be an increase in demand, but that will not keep up with supply, and that will drive prices down, I would think. And so in the short term, I would argue that these prices will continue to decline. And so you then ask, should I buy now? Should I buy later? And I need to say to you, how many copies do you want? How much money do you have? What's your appetite for risk? You know, how necessary is one of these cards to your specific deck and your design and how you play the game? Because if there's a carry card here that you really feel would transform the value of your deck and your playability, then that answers the question by itself. But if not, and probably I can assume you just want them, like you think they'd be great to have, but they're not going to by themselves transform your deck. That kind of leaves it in the gray area. It's like you could buy it for $8 and it could be $4. That would be crazy to me, but it could. It absolutely could. These prices could drop a lot more. But here's the question: if it doesn't drop, if it drops to say 6 and then spikes to 12, are you going to be kicking yourself because you were waiting for the perfect price, and you really wanted at least 3 Jin Murats, but you thought, I'll just wait till it's $4, and then it gets to $12 and then 20, because that happens. It happens fast. When that move changes, when that move occurs, it won't take time and slowly wait for you to pack your bag. It's going to happen quick. And when it does, it won't come back. But that's the long term. That's probably like the 3-month, 4-month window. I think you do have some time to play with here. But then again, understand also, and this will be the last note, some cards just take off as they get discovered, and then they don't come back down anyways, even if there's a ton of supply. And if you just went over to, like, I think when we go over to rewards, man, well, just look at Oceanus is super cheap now too, $10, and he was $60. This thing's still issued, and I think we're at, let's see, Kyokiz, we're only about 10% or 20%. Kyo, come over here, Splinterlands rewards, we go, Oceanus is at 19% release. You know, the prices are low. I do think they could fall lower. If you're here for 3-4 years, I say to you, slowly acquire and stop waiting for the bottom. If you're trying to do a quick trade, do a flip and make a few bucks, this is not the market. You need stability. You need the quiet of a bear market to get in there. That's what I feel in terms of flipping and making money on cards over like a week or two. What I would want is the solitude and the silence of a bear market where no one's buying cards except for those who love the game. And the market slows down and the prices find a bottom, and you know it's the bottom because it's been there for 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, and you go ahead and you find a deal, because deals pop up even at that moment because someone gets eager and urgent and they need to sell that card now, and they list it for half the price, and you buy it, and then you list it for a 30 or 50% profit. And that happens all the time in the bear market. But this is not the bear market. We are having wild swings, up 50%, down 50%, up 50%, down 50%. When Bitcoin rolls to 13,000, 14,000, which I believe it will, that'll be where we're at actually, that'll probably be the bottom as far as I'm concerned in terms of the bear market. And that'll be a sign for me to both be buying Bitcoin at that time, but also to make sure I'm packing my bags with Splinterlands cards, because these values will decline. And so be careful, I guess, is the closing remark. But, understand that the longer you wait, there's a certain amount of rewards you're leaving on the table that you could access now if you just had the cards to play with. So there's a wide range of angles to look at there. I hope that was definitely a full unpacking of my view on that topic. I hope that you found that helpful, and if you did, make sure that you like and subscribe. And guys, as always, thank you for your support. If you ever want more from me, you can drop comments in the comment section. You can go to Discord and get in the guild, dropping conversations in that place. You can become a member of the channel, supporting at bronze or higher. Silver or higher becomes a TNA intern, and there is actually 2 levels at which I will be spending monthly time with you in video chat through Discord, answering whatever questions or strategizing how to build your deck or whatever the case may be. So if there's more you want from me, there's ways to get that. Thanks for your time and attention. Have an amazing day. God bless.